Let's talk about this nobody has pulse debacle because that really, and not you or I really, and we also discovered that faucet the other night. Shout out to your friend Sami again on that one.
Yeah.
But so yeah, a big problem for a lot of people. Now, I think it was good that even for people, we know that most people sacked for Pulse X of the two, obviously, not for PulseChain. They got into it a little bit later, which is understandable. It was a sacrifice that took place 6 months after the fact. Do you have your razor on? Yeah, you do. Oh, you're already going. Okay, all right. I was going to say, I was going to bring that up. Holy shit, he's going through it right now. Okay. So as Ewok
We're
does
getting
begin,
started.
as Ewok begins the shaving process of the Pulse beard, boy, I about lost my where was I going with this? Okay. So many people, sacked for Pulse X, obviously, and they were given one pulse to kind of transact at the beginning of the network. Well, that kind of quickly became a joke because transactions were taking, a couple hundred pulse to 1,500 pulse or something like that. You may want to mute your mic while you're while you're actually.
Is that distracting you?
It is slightly distracting. It's not like overbearing, but it's there. So people had one pulse, and I will say, for anybody who did anything like right away whenever they got their tokens, I know the first thing I did, and you watching, you probably did the same thing. Any of you who sacked for Pulse or Pulse X, I wanted to move my stuff out right away just to get it to not necessarily a more secure wallet, but just, it's been sitting there for a year or whatever, year and a half, 2 years. So just wanted to move it out. So that was the first thing I did. That cost like fraction of a pulse. I mean, it was nothing. And then quickly, of course, we saw things, you go to that PLS burn right now, and it's 1,600 pulse roughly to make a Pulse X swap, 98 to send pulse, and 700 to send a PRC20 of any kind. So that's where we're at now. That beard's coming off very nicely, actually. Wow, that's coming off quick. Very nice. So the debacle then became for the people that had Pulse X, and frankly wanted to dump it and buy Pulse, likely, or something like that. Or frankly, maybe they just wanted to, maybe they had other ERC20s that they thought wouldn't be worth anything on PulseChain and wanted to trade them out. Well, they quickly realized they couldn't do any of that because they didn't have enough Pulse to transact. And that kind of became the big problem, is how were any of these people going to get Pulse? So Ewok, as good of a job as you're doing on the reconstruction there so far, could you kind of speak to that, kind of how people were dealing with that issue of like this great conundrum of like, you don't have enough, you have your tokens, but you don't have enough pulse to do anything actually.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, it was one of the benefits though of sacrificing. So they were the only ones that were able to do anything. And you're right, at the early onset of it, yeah, it was cheap. It was 0.00 whatever it was. And then the network became just crazy busy. So yeah, it was there was a conundrum. Again, only the people that sacrificed large amounts could do anything. But then when you're looking at it, I'm like, I don't want to spend 2,000 pulse on a transaction right now when I know it should be a lot lower. But then you think about it, and what's the value of 2,000 pulse? Well, it's really not that much. It's still fractions of a penny probably. So yeah, I mean, it's part of the congestion. And then you had guys like the Vampire who decided to launch again on PulseChain to stress test the network. I really think he was trying to break it, to be honest with you.
He literally like said he was.
Yeah. I just, again, and then he, I don't know if you caught this or not, but he was asking people for Pulse because they ran out of money. So that's another good thing about it costing so much, is people that were trying to spam the network ran out. If they didn't sacrifice, they ran out. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise that the prices went up that high. So, I found the whole thing interesting, how it was all playing out. And the fees worked out to the benefit of the holders, because again, people didn't have that much, so they couldn't really do anything. The only ones that had it were the sacrificers. So
Mhm.
You know, there you go. There's your reason why I sacrificed so that
Mhm.
you could do things early.
I think the main reason you sacrifice were just for crazy long-term gains, but yes, also
Well,
that
that
obviously.
too. Yeah. But
Yeah, but and it is good to have that. I mean, like some people were stuck right away, and we have seen, and keep your eyes peeled, folks, for these little faucets that are popping up because we saw that one last night. You and I both hopped on, and I at least it worked for me. I was able to get like you did too, 2,500 pulse to one of the
yeah,
wallets,
yeah.
which
Even though it gave an error, it's still
hmm,
it still showed in the wallet. Now I did a couple more and I didn't end up checking those. Um, but even shout out to the community. Some of the people in the community were just handing out 2,000 at a time too. I thought that was
true.
really cool. That people were asking them for funds and they were just giving it to them. So I mean, I thought that was pretty. This community, never fails to amaze me and the people. So
Yeah,
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 pretty cool.
definitely good. And to the benefit of a lot of people, I mean, I think that's a good idea from people because you got to remember, like, a lot of these people have sacrificed like so much and have so many Pulse tokens right now that it probably even was kind of beneficial to them to pass that on and have more people be able to use the network early on. So, definitely good. So, people are going to help provide liquidity as well. So, we are slowly going to have the people not having Pulse debacle saved or turned around. So that is coming. So keep your eyes peeled for faucets. Just continue to be patient. And I know it's really hard right now. There's so much action, and you want to get in on it, but we are going to get there. So hexpassiveincome.com. My friend Crypto Coffee has created what I think is probably the best course for a new cryptocurrency investor. Not only that, but these courses usually charge an arm and a leg. Crypto Coffee is only charging $200. I think right now he actually has a discount for $150. I have a link below in the description. If you are new to crypto, do not understand Hex and how it works, click the link below. It's a quick, easy course. He only gives you the basics. I personally, myself, have thought about creating an intro to crypto course in the past. I don't think there's any reason to do so because Matt, Crypto Coffee, has already taken care of that. And I don't think anything needs to be added by anybody else. So check it out. The link is in the description and sign up to Hex Passive Income today.